Hello everyone, back again to talk about yet another film, this time Poor Things. I think I'm going to remove my cardigan for this one because I'm getting all hot and bothered thinking about this film. Salper was already a shockingly sexual film-going experience, not that I was counting on going back to back with these wild sex odysseys, but my god has it been a steamy time at the cinemas lately. Ugh. I don't know what I expected going into this film. I guess I expected the unexpected, and boy was I not disappointed in that regard. Yorgos Lanthimos I consider a filmmaker to be a very, very strange and peculiar filmmaker, to put it lightly, but at the same time, one of the most viciously creative filmmakers working today, and Poor Things just continues that tradition. I have yet to see some of his earlier films, but already The Lobster, Killing of the Sacred Deer, and The Favorite were movies that are just so unlike anything I've ever seen before, even to this day, which I feel is something that I say often on this channel perhaps, but Yorgos Lanthimos definitely takes the cake as the king of weird perhaps, and I do think he cements that reputation with this latest film, Poor Thing. I'm really going to do my best to not spoil anything at all, which is easier said than done because I do think it's best to just go in with a blank slate with this film and just enjoy the ride. Essentially, this is a coming-of-age story, and here we have Emma Stone, who plays Bella Baxter, this woman who has a very interesting narrative arc in this film. It's rare that we get a performance that is so shamelessly unfiltered and so fearless and nakedly open. It is an unforgettable performance, and I can easily see her winning her second Oscar for this film. Not that there haven't been strong competition, but my god, it is just a spellbinding performance of complexity, nuance, and grace, even in its wildness and degeneracy. But honestly, there's so many highlight performances. Willem Dafoe as the mad Frankenstein scientist here is quite uncanny but fascinating as well. And I think Mark Ruffalo gives this funniest performances of his career thus far. He had me in stitches in so many ways. It's really curious to see Bella Baxter's character just growing and evolving throughout the course of the film, and him kind of degenerating, becoming more petulant and childlike in reverse. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. It is a wonderful, wonderful performance from the whole cast, really. And in terms of art direction, I am simply astounded by what's created here. So we're in the Victorian era here. There's a very steampunk aesthetic, but at the same time, there's this magical, otherworldly quality to it. There's this perpetual use of this fisheye lens that distorts the image constantly. And at the beginning of the film, it feels really weird and disorienting. It takes a moment to adjust yourselves and get your sea legs toward this really kaleidoscopic experience, but there's order to the chaos, and it perfectly fits the aesthetics of this world. It really is unlike anything I've seen this year in cinema. It's fantastic. I also really like the transition from the black and white in the intro sequence of the film towards the transition to the color. It's so tastefully done, I'm simply blown away by it. And the soundtrack is easily the best soundtrack I've heard in any film this year. It really helps in giving this toy box quality to it in a very uncanny, unstabilizing, and whimsical way at the same time. And there's almost this like infusion of this horror-like element into the soundtrack, which perfectly matches in this very steampunk and otherworldly aesthetic of the film. There's some moments where I almost felt like I was in a Van Gogh painting at times. The sky, for example, is simply breathtaking to look at. The whole film, from the cinematography, the lighting, the set design, the costume design, the makeup design, it really is a feast for the eyes and the ears. I really don't want to go into more detail on this film because I do think you guys should just go and check it out for yourself, even though it is kind of an impossible film to recommend because it is so graphically sexual and gonzo and bananas in ways that I've rarely seen any film ever go to. And keep in mind that we did have Beau is Afraid this year, and this is the kind of film that is going to give that film a run for its money. My god, what an experience. I'm going to be processing this one for a while. This is without question one of the best films we're going to get this year. I'm ranging anywhere between a 9.5 and a 10 out of 10. I'm floored by this film. Oh my god. And it really is one of the funniest movies I've seen this year. I was just mesmerized, intrigued, laughing out loud so much. It really is like nothing else you'll see this year. And it's a film that is so unafraid to be itself. It doesn't seem to care if it makes a dime at the box office. Once again, I do hesitate recommending it to some people because it is so out there and it might be just too much for a lot of people to process. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm totally in love with this thing. So that is it for today. Tomorrow, I think I'm gonna go see my show. So until that next video, wishing you and your loved ones nothing but the best. Take care and talk to you as soon as I can.